So here's the rundown on this episode. First up is a call taped in December where Casey and I get into every aspect of his recent dealings with Madonna in Mirwais. You may have seen some stuff about this in the news lately. Well, we get into every little detail. After that is the complete set that Casey did at Violet's show at the Bataclan in September, and then we close with a chat I taped backstage at the Bataclan before that show. And a small technical note on that segment, we started the backstage taping kind of off the cuff, so the first 10 minutes were captured on my phone as I was setting up my gear. But you can hear what we're saying. It's a little strange because there's some rumbling in the background, but hey, what are you going to do? That's the magic of France, right? Before we plunge into all these fabulous things, it's time to tell you about patreon.com/CraigandFriends. That's right, patreon.com/CraigandFriends. Hustle on over there now, sign up and slide into the Thunderbuns of Hot Dog Club. Because when you're a member of Hot Dog Club, you get full-length exclusive episodes, listener questions episodes, also full-length, and more than full-length movie club episodes. The hot new Heather's Movie Club is now up, with Peaches Christ and Sherry Torn joining me for 2 hours of deep dive discussion about all things Heather's. And then last month saw the release of the 90-minute episode with Alaska, all about Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Coming up very soon, 2 hot movie clubs with Willem, one for Casino and one for A Star is Born. And there's so very much more. So head on over to patreon.com/CraigandFriends, support this show, and flood your ears with entertainment.
A Russian ballerina, stomping on a bureaucrat. A perky suburban housewife who just got into scat. It's whimsically volatile.
I have bodyguards now.
Presidential candidate sometimes needs that.
Exactly. I'm in Berlin working on new music.
Yeah, so give me a rundown of what's been going on with the new music.
Music is going really good. I came to Berlin for 4 days in October to work on one song. A friend of mine named Mr. Stipe was in town, so he did some light consulting. And I wrote the presidential theme song, Spooner 2020. It went really good. I met an engineer here that I fell in love with an engineer.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't call him an engineer, but that's what he does for me. But he's a producer. His name's Pierre Voigt. Mm-hmm. He does hip hop.
Okay.
I've never worked with a hip hop producer, but it's really good for me because I do so much spoken and more performance driven singing, that he has all these amazing tricks to make spoken stuff more exciting. So I kind of missed my flight and then rented a room and kept working with Pierre. Julian Stetter showed up, and Julian's a techno producer. Mm-hmm. And so he sent me a track to record for his record, and then we ended up writing a really good pop song. And then I broke up with my musical partner, Fisher. Right. And then a lot of people started sending me material. Oh. So all of a sudden, the record kind of the new album exploded in the month of November. And now I have 9 songs. I'm going to, keep writing. Sure. Because it just keeps getting better.
Great. And it seems like you're really in the flow right now.
Yes, it's going very good. I've never been more productive, and I've never written better or sang better.
It's interesting. Sometimes, the dissolution of a partnership leads to a whole new forest of opportunity.
Well, there's been a lot of drama, so I think it helped fuel the material.
Sure, I imagine you're getting a lot of inspiration out of some of the news items that we've been seeing lately about your work on the song Gone Control, found on Madonna's Madame X album.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Just pernicious rumors that we're spreading now via the podcast, so I'm glad to have your statement on it.
Fake news. Totally fake news. No, I know. It's been difficult and weird and intense and a real education for me dealing with someone on that level.
Sure.
But, basically it's been probably one of the most painful artistic experiences I've gone through because I love Madonna. She's basically like a mother to me on a certain level because she raised me to be glamorous, a glamorous faggot. And then Mirwais I admired and worked with in 2005. So they're people that, I have a lot of respect and love for and wanted to and actually, worked with.
Sure.
So it was a real violation for me on a lot of levels. And I think the hardest part was just that, Mirwais and I collaborated on this song together in 2017. I was very excited about it. I connected to it personally because I have a very kind of strange history with guns in my family. I'm from the South. When I was a kid, I wanted a gun. I wanted my own gun because all my friends had guns. My father, very smartly, did not allow me to have my own shotgun when I was 9 years old.
Yeah, that's a good choice, I think, at 9.
Which sort of, in the context of that social system, emasculated me and made me, it made me feel like, not a man.
Did other kids in the neighborhood, for instance, have guns at that age?
Of course. Everybody had shotguns.
Wow.
Everybody had their own shotgun. I was the only kid in the neighborhood that didn't have my own gun. So anyway, I had told these stories to Mirwais, and they kind of fueled the performance. And then later, there's another crazy story where it flipped. And then when I was in college, my grandfather wanted to bestow the family shotgun to me, and I turned it down, which was a scandal. So, I had been given the sort of like patriarchal gun to inherit his legacy, and I denied the gift.
Right.
So all these things were big ideas. Mirwais and I had talked about making a film about it, a documentary, a music video, blah, blah, blah. So I was very invested in the writing, and I felt that we were onto like a really great idea. And then basically we lost touch, and he got busy, and then he told me he was working with Madonna, and I said I would love to work on the record, and then I never heard from him. And then the next time I heard the song, it was New York City Gay Pride, the day after the Madonna album release. I was walking down 8th Avenue, going to a doctor's appointment, headed to the ACE, and her album popped up on Spotify. I'd heard good things about God Control. And so I was like, oh, let's check it out. And I played the first song, and it was literally the thing that I had worked on.
Oh, yeah.
And it was crazy. Like, what, really this thing that I worked on and it felt invested in was used, and with very little changes and without any kind of like, there was no outreach. There was no like, hey, Casey, thank you for your contribution.
Right.
No. And, I know that like Madonna says Mirwais didn't tell her. Mirwais says that, he told her. But the fact of the matter is, she heard it. She was influenced by my performance.
Right.
He told her. They just forgot.
Sure.
So the forgetting is such a the forgetting to just call me.
Yeah.
Is pretty hurtful. And so, basically I went to management and legal, and everyone just told me like, you can't fight her, you can't win, there's nothing you can do.
What did they say? That it was too expensive, that you'd be held up in court forever?
Lawyers said you need $50K. You can't. Management said you have to hire a musicologist to prove it. Ugh. I mean, everyone was just like, give up, which was like, to be New York City, World Pride, faggot, New York City,
Sure.
And then Madonna release, then like to be taken advantage of, to be ignored, then to be diminished, then to be told by all these corporate people that basically there is no recourse, and that somehow this theft is justifiable just because it's a big entity, and it was just morally corrupt on such a fundamental level that I couldn't even, it was very difficult.
What were the days after that incident, or rather when you heard that kind of distressing news from the lawyers like? What was your mood state, and like, how were you functioning?
Well, I'm pretty good at like, getting through it. And so I had a pretty good Pride, but it wasn't really the celebration I had imagined.
Yeah.
And I decided to just write a letter to Mirwais personally and directly. I decided to just not be angry and just assume he was super busy and assume that we would come to a resolution that would be fair.
Yeah.
So I just sent an email and I was like, hey, congratulations, great work, blah, blah, blah. But, I'm pretty sure that my work is included. And so I would love to hear your demo, before my demo, just to make sure I'm not imagining anything.
Right.
And he didn't respond to that email. It was also really tough because I did not book any performances during Pride. And I just released, the gayest record in history.
Sure.
And I'm from New York and I'm not booking a Pride show. I would say the one glowing, beautiful beam of magical gay light that shone down on me was Grace Jones's performance during New York Pride.
Yeah.
And so to see her, she was really, one of my big icons growing up also. So to see her and see her, aging beautifully and powerfully.
Yes.
It really gave me a lot. That gave me strength, honestly. Grace Jones saved my life that season.
I can see a position for her in the cabinet in your presidency.
Absolutely. Oh my God, are you kidding? I would love for her to run a press conference. Or she would be great. She'd be a great ambassador,
I think she'd be better suited to that, and you could have someone else handle the press secretary stuff. Can you hold for just 1 second? A pizza's showing up, and I have to...
yes, ma'am.
Thank you. There you go. You never know when someone's going to call during a show, as we know from that clip I sent you.
I know. I love when you get a call from the clinic or the pizza delivery.
Exactly, right. There's good news or food on the other end.
Did you run that clip on the air?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that went out as is.
You know what? Thank you. Kids need to hear that.
Well, that's lovely. Thank you very much for saying that. I was happy to share. I'm really happy that the call came when it did and that we could have the discussion that we did on the show.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because there's nothing to be ashamed about. You just make sure that everyone out there, you get tested.
Exactly.
So you're then waiting to hear back from people, and you just keep getting nothing. You just keep getting stonewalled.
Yeah, and basically everyone told me there was no recourse. And then I was, I had the demo, I had the lyrics before my writing, so you can see how I restructured the writing and changed the rhythm and Americanized it and blah, blah, blah. And
sure, and just to clarify, so when you got the initial track from Mirwais, rather, do you have all of that documentation? You have the original that he sent you, et cetera?
Yeah. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And that's a good thing for anyone out there to keep note of if you're collaborating with people. Keep extensive documentation of what you've done, what was there before, et cetera.
Yeah, exactly. It's really smart to, have documentation of your contribution and get copies of your work as you go along, because you could end up in a crazy situation like this.
Sure.
Even with people that you trust. It's not, it's not wrong to, document your work.
Exactly. Just like we were talking about, even with testing, it's not wrong to be careful.
Yeah, exactly. It's not wrong to be careful. But yeah, so anyway, the summer wore on and I was really, I don't know. I mean, it was just sort of like this strange
cloud.
I don't know. It's a strange cloud.
Yeah.
And I told the story to someone and they were like, listen, I know someone at this magazine and I think you should send it to him. Mm-hmm. And so basically, I was like, well, I mean, at this point, why not? And
sure.
So I sent the demo and my emails to Mirwais to a magazine. I had to send it anonymously because I figured I could probably get sued for slander, but I felt like the truth should be told.
Sure, and your options were very limited.
My options were completely limited. There was I had no other choice, basically. Right. And so I leaked the demo and the emails to a tabloid, and then they spent about 3 weeks vetting it to make sure that they couldn't get sued. Mm-hmm. And then once they had vetted it, they reached out to Madonna's office for comments.
Yeah.
And within 30 minutes, I got an email from Madonna's office.
Wow. Okay, so they are checking their inbox.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, this is obviously the only way, these people listen. They don't listen to me sending, nice emails requesting your attention and, whatever. So then at that point, negotiations started with legal about a week later. The terms are really not great. Mm-hmm. I mean, Initially, I thought they were. I was very excited because they were like, "What do you want?" And I said, "Well, I feel like I should get some sort of like some sort of money up front as like a advance or damages and publishing on the song for writing and credit."
Because at this point as well, it's been out for a couple months.
Yeah, we're like 2 months in.
Yeah.
They kind of pushed back a little bit, and they were, but eventually they basically conceded, and they said basically they were like, "Look, this is a Mirwais problem that now is a Madonna problem, and we take responsibility for it."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Okay."
It sounds good at that time, I'm sure.
Yeah, and 15% publishing on a Madonna song sounded amazing.
Absolutely.
But they also were very kind of diminishing of their own of sales. They were like, "Listen, just to be on, they were like, just to be clear, it's like Madonna doesn't sell like she used to, and da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Will you take the cash? Can it be an advance against royalties?" Which I could have been a dick and just been like, "No, I just want money, period."
Yeah.
And then royalties are separate. But I was like, "Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll make it an advance. No big deal." And I even had said like, "And maybe we can turn this into a positive thing. Maybe we can release my version. Maybe we can turn it into a cool story." None of that was responded to.
Sure. Which is a shame, really, because look where everything's at now. And, you were trying to find a positive outcome for everything.
I know. And it's stupid because basically we want the same things. We're basically fighting the same battles. We're on the same team.
Right.
So it's stupid, but this is kind of like every step of the way I've kind of been pushed to where I have no choice. And mostly it's like, I don't blame the artist. It's really these aggressive lawyers and how things break down in these complicated corporate communications.
Right.
And so I'm just sorry. It's like, I'm an artist. I just don't have patience for it. And it's like these people, I don't know. I feel like they use like manipulation and harassment and
intimidation. Yeah.
Intimidation and all these different things. And it's just like, can we just be like direct and clear about what's going on? So anyway, they made an offer and they were like, "Okay, well, we'll offer you $10,000 against royalties that don't exist." So I was like, "Okay, so you're offering me $10,000 against 15% of nothing."
Right.
Great. And I was like, "This seems really low."
It does seem very low.
This seems low. This seems a little low to me
Yeah.
for some reason. I don't know why. 10K seems low to have your work stolen, ignored, and then forced to leak your material to a tabloid to get someone to return your emails, and I get $10,000.
It does seem low. Now, for context, what would you say if one of your songs was licensed for use in a film or a commercial or something? What would be the ballpark figure that you would net from that?
I mean, it depends. I think the market has changed, and definitely like licensing is where the money is.
Sure.
But, I don't know. It's like, if you do like beauty campaigns, that's where the real money is.
Uh-huh.
And we had negotiated that this song could be licensed and that I wouldn't impede any of the licensing, that they would have full approval over any license.
Sure.
So I wouldn't. But this is not the kind of song that's going to get licensed for a lipstick commercial.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But it is the kind of song that would open the shows on the Madame X tour.
Which was interesting because they downplayed the importance of the song. And then as negotiations went on, it was revealed that the show opens with the writing that I worked on.
Right.
And that really started to get under my skin because as we were negotiating, basically all, fall, everyone's been calling me and been like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it. She's opening with your song. She's opening with the thing that you worked on, blah, blah, blah." And then the thing that was really annoying is that I was really surprised these lawyers, when the number came back 10K, I was like, that seems low to me. I was like, what would be, like the industry standard if we were to go to court and I were to sue?
Right.
What would be like a number for settlement?
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, I feel like these numbers are like emotional. They're not tangible.
Sure.
So like, why don't we go to like legal? Let's actually find out what the number would be if I sued. I had a lawyer and he was like, well, I'm not a litigator. You need to get a litigator. So then I secured a litigator. Then the litigator was like, well, because it was recorded in France, it falls under French copyright law. So we have to get a French litigator.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. Then everybody went on vacation to Corsica for 3 weeks in August. And I couldn't get anyone to do any work. And then finally everyone came back in September, and we found out from the French litigator that basically because the material was used without my consent, that I could enjoin the sale of the song, which means that I can file an injunction and I can halt all sales of the song. It also revealed that because of the breach, I was legally entitled to 100% net profits of the song.
Which would be considerably more than $10,000.
Yes. So Mirwais profits, Madonna's profits, the record label's profits, and the publishing company's profits. I could sue for 100% all profits related to the song. Not just the sale of the song on sites, but the use of the song in performance or film or TV.
Sure.
100% all profits related to that song, period, across the board, are legally mine because of the
violation.
The fact that it was used because of the violation, and it was used without my knowledge or permission.
Right, exactly.
So we presented that information back to Madonna's legal team, and their response was, okay, we'll raise the advance against royalties to $25,000.
And what was your feeling on that?
Disbelief.
Disbelief at the low number still?
Yes. Oh my God, that's crazy.
Right. No, exactly. Yeah.
I can take up all sales and a percent. It's like, and really the number that I asked for, which is not crazy, was $120,000.
Yeah.
$20,000 of that goes to legal,
sure,
off the top. And the $100,000, there's taxes that have to come out of that, blah, 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 blah. But I literally asked for that because I'm in the process of self-releasing an album. And I was like, how much money do I need just to release my own material?
Right.
So that's what I based my number off of. And I did not ask for, $2 million. I could have asked for that, but I was like, that's ridiculous. I'm not going to do that. Let's just, You
were trying to be reasonable.
Trying to be somewhat reasonable.
Yeah.
And also just try to fulfill my needs and not be greedy.
Sure.
We came to a standstill and they wouldn't budge. At a certain point, the thing that really made me, I would say, snap, which I definitely snapped, was there was a clause in the contract that said once I signed the contract that I could never disclose the terms and I could never tell the story.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, so you want to give me $10,000 and censure me to never tell the story of this abuse. And I was like, you know what? I'm sorry, but the truth is way more valuable than $10,000. I need the money, but I don't need the money that badly. And I will figure it out. And I can find $10,000 somewhere else. But no, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell the truth.
Right. Because now at this point, it's just insult on top of insult.
Absolutely. And these people are making millions of dollars off of something that I worked on.
And it was the lead video from the album. I don't think there's been another video, but that's the big sort of thesis statement.
Yeah, exactly. It's the thesis. And, I've gotten a lot of criticism. Everyone's like, oh, you changed 3 words. I'm like, honey, when you write a song, it's not about 3 words. It's like the structure, the shape, the tone, the character.
Right.
And I don't think if my performance elevated the work so that it did catch her ear and made her want to use it, which is I'm grateful for. That's awesome. That's a huge compliment. I love it. I just wish that it had been under better circumstances.
Who doesn't want to have a song on a Madonna album, but you would like it to be handled properly?
Yeah, well, I guess I did. I do. But it doesn't matter, whatever. I'm, interviewing new legal counsel, but honestly, I'm so tired of the whole thing. And I'm in the midst of I'm busy. I have other stuff to do. I'm running for damn president.
That's
and
right.
Releasing an album and making a TV show and directing CGI porn and. So it's I don't have time for all this.
So I want to get into all those things, but just to sum up where you're at the present moment, you're interviewing new legal counsel. You're going to be looking at new approaches that you can maybe take for some kind of proper settlement. But in the meantime, things are just as they were. But now the story's out there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, honestly, I feel so much better just being able to tell the truth. It's such a relief because it was so torturous. And then if I have to sue, I guess we will go to court and I will sue for 100% net profits related to the song across the board for film, TV, live performance, and musical release, which is stupid, but I don't want to have to do that. But if this is, if I have to, I have to.
Yeah, if you're left with no other option, I mean, that seems like the only thing you can do.
Exactly. It's whatever. It's a silly drama. I'm ready to move on.
Well, I hope it all gets cleared up soon, and you'll keep us abreast of all the latest developments.
I feel like the thing that I want to make clear is I don't hate Madonna.
Right.
I don't hate. This is all a problem with the system and the lawyers, and so it's painful on a lot of levels because this was an artist that I wanted to work with and I admired and raised me, and with a producer that I loved. So again, it's a betrayal that, I'll recover from, but it's just more than anything, it's just disappointing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, hurtful and a real drag.
It's disappointing. It's really, this is what people in power, this is how they handle it. I'm nobody, I mean, I'm not nobody, but it's I don't have the money and the resources and the power. And so it feels like it's a weird parallel for even the way the banking collapse happens. It's too big to fail. You can't fight it. Give up now because they have too much power.
And that's not very American.
That's not the way we do things.
In terms of how we want to do things or in looking forward to doing things, let's talk about your new porn situation. What's going on there?
Right? So exciting.
Yeah, very.
Yeah, we've been working on this idea, I would say, since April. We're going to shoot in Berlin in February.
And who are you shooting for?
It's for the Tom of Finland Foundation. It's Tom of Finland's 100th birthday this year. So we're celebrating Tom. And, I really felt strongly that it was cool to be directing my first porn while I was running my presidential campaign.
Well, as you said, the president is sexual.
The president is sexual. And, obviously we've have Stormy Daniels and, Moscow Piss Party and all this, amazing, awesome, great sexual stuff that there should be no shame about.
Right.
So why not just go ahead and advocate, being sexually liberated and free and sharing your desires and still be a leader.
What's the overall vibe of the porn that you're going to make?
Well, we're going through, it's very technical. Basically what was interesting is there's 5 chapters to the porn series. 3 are set in the past, 1 set in the present, and the 5th chapter, the last chapter, is set in the future.
Oh.
And they asked me to direct the future.
Oh, that makes sense.
Which was really an interesting challenge. And so I kept thinking about it, and I kept watching lots and lots of porn to try to figure out what was the kind of crux of my desire.
Sure.
And it was exhausting. There was a lot of masturbation. I'm so glad that research period is over.
Yeah, research can be very taxing.
That research is taxing and distracting. And I have got a legal battle going, and I'm trying to make a record.
Right.
And I cannot keep masturbating like this.
Well, listen, thank you for your service.
You're welcome. But basically what was really kind of cool to come to, indulging in that, is I was okay, look, sex is sex. Sex is always going to be sex. Sex is eternal. Sex is, you can't reinvent sex. But what they had told me, one of the producers at men.com, this guy Jeremy, it was really cool. He was like, Casey, we want you to reinvent sex on camera.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And that phrase haunted me for months. I was reinvent sex on camera, reinvent sex on camera. So while I was masturbating, I was all right, what's the camera they're using? What's the angle? Why is this working? Does this work? Really, really trying to think cinematically about how we live in this. And I love this new term that my friend Alex Galan coined related to the new Peter Berlin book, photosexual.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, okay, what is this photosexual era we're in, where sex and the camera and the phone and the amateur and intimacy and documenting and sharing. And, I really was like going into a rabbit hole thinking about it. And then all of a sudden my mind, it like just clicked in. And I just focused on this, like, we want you to reinvent sex on camera. And then I was like, okay, then I just have to use amazing cameras.
Sure.
So now I'm in the process of, finding the most interesting cameras, the most interesting camera work, the most, finding ways to kind of push the technology.
Sure. And, a good DP never hurts.
Okay. I know. I love when straight people don't get that and you're on a film set and they're like, well, the DP is. And you're like, okay. I'm going to do it on like a motion capture stage.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to do motion capture and play with motion capture and CGI.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, it is the future that you're dealing with.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's like, well, are you going to be in it? Are you going to be in it? Are you going to be in it? And I was like, it's tough. I mean, I want to be in it, but I also know I can't. It's difficult for me to be on set as a performer and then, outside directing and shaping it.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I was really conflicted over that. So now the solution is I'm just going to cast my favorite porn performers, or I don't know, it'll be a mix. I think I'm dealing with the casting now, like a mix of established porn people and more like the new amateur generation.
Sure.
Amateur sounds diminishing though, but the new, I don't know.
Upstarts.
Yeah, the new upstarts. And then also I can scan anyone and use their likeness. So I can almost like Frankenstein together. Like, I love this guy's face. I love this guy's dick. I love this, it's literally like I can Dr. Frankenstein my favorite sexual being.
Right.
So, and then I'm also going to have a CGI version of myself. So I can just insert myself in the scene.
Well, that's a great way to appear and not have to deal with wearing two hats at the same time.
Exactly. So I get to make myself like a Tom of Finland character in the future, doing whatever I want with whoever I want. And then what's cool is I'm going to shoot. I also love the look of when you see like they're shooting Avatar.
Yeah.
And it's like they're on these weird sets, like, climbing over foam and like leotards with dots all over themselves.
Right. Yeah.
So there's a way that you can apply those motion capture dots without the bodysuit.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to have all the performers will have the dots all over them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to shoot live action simultaneously. So there'll be like an amazing, live action kind of behind the scenes version. And then there will be the CGI version. And then I really like the idea of like clicking back and forth between realities and characters and layers. And I always love glitches and mistakes and problems. So I'm sure we're going to get on set and something's going to go wrong and I'm going to love it. And I wrote an amazing song for it called Daddy Yes.
Oh, that's what that's for. Okay. I remember hearing a clip of that on your Insta story.
Yeah. So Daddy Yes will be the song. And so there'll be a porn edit that'll be, like the 15-minute edit. And then I'll jump on set and I'll do a lip sync take. And then we'll do a music video edit also.
Oh, terrific.
It's a great producer from Madrid, Andrew Armstrong, did the track.
Great. And back to the presidential campaign, we talked about the theme song. Now, can you send me the finished theme song? You sent me a version of it, but I'd like to play a little extract during the show.
You know what? I'll send you a rough mix. I mean, we just whatever. You guys can hear it. It's a rough mix. It's not mixed yet. I'm waiting to get the mix done.
Okay, cool. So we'll be playing a little bit of that. That'll be great. And in terms of your campaign, tell me a little bit about what's been going on lately with that, because I saw that you had some fittings.
Yes, my friend Fabio Zambernardi from Prada made me a full custom presidential wardrobe that I'm wearing in the first shoot that we're doing in New York next week.
Oh, terrific.
And yeah, he made me this amazing gown, and the gown is super cool because it's made out of ballistic nylon, and the crinoline is all like technical too. So it's kind of like a men's battle gown. Weirdly, of how it's relating to current affairs without anyone did not tell him anything about anything.
It's in the air then, yeah.
It's in the air. And so, yeah. And so did those looks, going to New York to shoot that.
And is there a video shoot planned?
Well, the video shoot that we're doing next week, I like to do this thing where everything is sort of multi-purpose. So what we're shooting is, I'm also making a television show.
That's right, yeah. Tell us about that.
It's just documenting the campaign.
Sure.
And really, the big thesis for the campaign that everyone should know is that in the United States, to be on the presidential ballot, you can be a Republican or a Democrat. You have to be nominated to those parties, and then you can get on the presidential ballot.
Right.
Or you can pay a certain amount of money and be printed on the ballot. Or you can be a write-in candidate where you just say you're running for president and people can just write your name in. Or there's another really cool thing where you can get your name printed on the ballot for no money if you raise a certain number of signatures state by state.
Now, have you been doing that?
No, not yet. I like to do things at the last minute. So,
With Robinhood, you can invest in stocks, options, and ETFs right from your phone. You can even spend and earn interest on uninvested cash. And with fractional shares, you can buy stocks in any amount, including companies like Apple, Amazon, and Tesla, for as little as $1. And that's with no commission fees or account minimums. So whether you're new to investing and ready to learn, or just looking for a better experience, stop waiting and join the 10 million Robinhood users. Listeners can get started with a free stock by going to whimsically.robinhood.com. All investments involve risk. This is not an investment advice, a recommendation, or a solicitation of any security. Other fees may apply. Visit rbnhd.co/fees. The free stock program is subject to certain limitations. Annual percentage yield APY on uninvested cash is paid by program banks and is variable. Robinhood Financial is not a bank.
So the point of the television show is to watch me try to raise at the last minute enough signatures to get my name printed on the presidential ballot, because I think it's a way for us to get around the kind of problems of like big money and power controlling politics.
Right. It's very a grassroots, use the technology available to you, etc.
Exactly. And my motto is don't vote for me.
That's
not
a good one.
Vote for me.
I don't think that's been used before, so I think you got a good one.
No, I'm running for president, but please do not vote for me.
This is a new concept in promotion, in campaigning.
No, literally, I just want to get my name printed on the ballot. To me, that will be like the most amazing sculpture ever. And then it's a way for me to show people that there's another way into politics.
Right.
There's another way to penetrate the system, no pun intended. And so I love my job as an artist. I don't want to do anything else, but I really feel that this is a cool way to kind of inspire someone else to, next election, please steal from me. Absolutely. Take my ideas, take them freely and use them and use it to change the system.
Right. So this is sort of a combination art, concept piece, and protest.
Yes. I mean, I was inspired by Eileen Miles. She's a poet, and she ran against Ross Perot in 92 as a write-in candidate. And there's a really beautiful, amazing poem by this woman named Zoe Leonard called I Want a President. And it was inspired by Eileen's campaign. So there's a history of artists running for office. And I just, there's a lot of reasons why it just feels right to me right now.
Sure. And in terms of the music that you're going to be releasing, why don't you outline the release plan that you have for the next year?
Well, I have to be honest, the plan is a little delayed because I got in a fight with Mom. But
Mom fights will do that.
Mom's slowing me down a little, which is very frustrating. But the plan is to release, I think I'm going to pull it off. The plan is to release a song a month in 2020. Yeah. So every month, January, February, March, April, May, there's a single a month that comes out. So right now I have 9 songs.
Yeah.
Not ready to go. 9 songs written. They're not mixed, but there'll be 9. So there'll be 9 songs that release. And then at the end of the year, they'll all be bundled and we'll release it as an album in December of 2020.
Perfect for next Christmas or whatever holiday season people celebrate.
Perfect for a year from now, yes.
Yes. So what should we be looking for in the next month? When's the first single coming out in January then?
Well, that's today's big question because because I've split with Fisher, I'm rebuilding an entire business in the midst of this legal battle as well. So,
sure.
Yeah. So now it's like new management, new label, new publisher, new, and we're like right up against Christmas. So
sure.
I'm doing a hard hustle to basically self-release the first single in January.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not exactly sure what the date is, but I think what I'm going to do is just do it through like a label services entity, so I don't deal with a label.
Now, what's a label services entity, just for those who are unclear on that?
If you work with someone that does label services, it means they can you don't do physical production and you do a digital release.
I see.
And
sure.
So I deliver to them the mastered music and the artwork files,
mm-hmm.
and they get everything up on iTunes and Spotify and blah blah blah. They get everything up and out on those outlets because really I really don't need a label for much other than marketing and promotions.
True.
Because I know how to do all the creative,
right?
And I really don't like dealing with corporate, I don't need opinions at this point. I know how to I know how to do film. I know how to do photography. I know how to make music.
Sure.
So I like to just self-finance that because people will always say like, oh, you have total creative freedom and blah, 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 and they'll give you money. But the minute somebody gives you money, they feel they have license to share their opinion.
Sure. Okay.
So I've just learned the best way for me is to self-finance all the creative, and then I hand that to someone to market and distribute.
What are your upcoming plans for the rest of the month? You said that you're going to New York next week? I'm
going to go to New York. I'm shooting the title sequence for the TV show, which is also the first music video and the first political advertisements.
Oh, terrific. And what's the name of the TV show?
Spooner 2020.
No, that makes sense.
It's easy.
Yeah.
And then I go visit my family in the South.
Lovely.
And we start shooting the first episode. So the first episode is me going to my conservatives, Trump voting Southern family.
Yeah.
And convincing them that I should be president.
So do you know when that will start coming out, the show?
No, we're waiting to pitch until after we've shot this first film piece.
Gotcha, yeah.
So we'll start doing meetings in January, and then I think we'll go to air pretty quick. We need to go to air very quickly.
Yeah, it's a very timely sort of thing, sure.
But which I really love because it's going to be happening. Everything's going to be happening in real time.
Right.
I'll have political consultants. We'll figure out how many signatures we need. We'll figure out how to set up systems to gather those signatures. You'll see me working on music. You'll see me, using fashion and media and social media, everything as a tool to communicate this message.
Right.
So it's a real mix of art, music, fashion, performance. It's just basically all the things I do circulating around this one big political idea.
That's great. I love the concept. I'm looking forward to seeing all of it. And I'm happy that we'll be posting regular updates about your exploits along the way.
Yes, ma'am. You are my official independent news outlet.
That's right. And I'm proud to be that.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
I think it's going to be, it makes me feel, I know it's everyone, I get a lot of criticism. They're like, oh, you're a distraction. But from other real candidates.
Sure.
But we need to not be functioning in a state of fear.
Sure. Absolutely.
And I left the United States in a state of fear and basically have been hiding in Europe.
Yeah.
And so if I can make something that feels optimistic, that feels hopeful, that feels inspiring, that feels like there's some kind of an option for us to infiltrate or change the system.
Yeah.
That can't be a bad thing.
And as you said before, with your slogan, please don't vote for me.
Please do not vote for me.
I think you're pretty clear on your intention for this.
Exactly. Just get me on the ballot, but do not vote for me. And I really love the TV slogan, make democracy democratic again.
That's a good one. Are you thinking of maybe making some hats with that?
Absolutely. Oh, wait. So that would be MDDM. MDDM.
MDDM, man.
I'm into MDDM. What are you into?
I'm really into MDDM, yeah.
BDSM and MDDM.
Yeah, well, I'm more of a light MDDM person, but I do enjoy it, and I like all sorts of things, so... Well, listen, it's been great catching up with you. Is there anything else that you'd like to add to say to the listeners or to put out there in the world at the moment?
Just everybody have a great holiday. That's
a lovely note to leave on, and I second that. And again, Casey, it's been lovely.
And let's kick ass in the new decade.
Absolutely, that's right. Yeah, it's going to be 2020, Spooner 2020.
Yes, ma'am.
The person I'm bringing on is a good, dear friend. We met a few years ago. When we met, I was a fan of theirs. We don't want to gender. I was a fan of, I keep spitting, sorry. Honey, it's the sweat dripping off of me. Do you have a Kleenex? Oh, but how fierce would it be if you did? Like a good hanky. Oh, you do? Is it silk? I don't want it. Is it designer? Fuck it. The friend I'm bringing out, I was a fan of his. I grew up to him at a party. We're in New York at a party. My friend Charlie Lemendu's party. He's a French hairdresser, if you know him. Anyways, I go up to him. I'm like, oh my God. I'm a huge fan. He did a remix for Kylie Minogue. And I was like, oh my God, I'm a huge fan of hers. And he was like, yeah, okay, great. And then I was like, oh, he doesn't know who I am. The audacity. So I was like, oh. Okay, that's the last time I fangirl. And then come to find out, she's a fan of mine now. In fact, I keep spitting. It's very passionate. In fact, I booked her to fill time while I change outfits. So please, without further ado, please welcome to the stage, Miss Casey Spooner.
There's a difference between alone and loneliness. I don't need anybody. I got myself. I fly so high. I fly so high. Magical, he appears on the floor. We're so high. He is so beautiful, and so am I. In a snakeskin thong he gave me, we don't say a word. He laughs, I laugh, and turn into the night. I fly so high. I don't need nobody else. I don't want no one. Honey-colored lenses life. It's all I ever want. I don't need nobody else. I don't want no one. Honey-colored lenses life. It's all I ever want. Give it up for Violet!
I am flying so high.
I am flying so high I can't come down.
I am flying so
I am flying so high I can't come down. I am flying so high I can't come down. I am flying so high without you now. I won't ever, never, ever come down. Thank you, Paris. Okay, it is so hot. It's crazy. Why is it so hot? Can you get this off of me? Give it up for Vincent and Jesus. I got to get all this Prada off. Thank you, Fabio. Yeah. Just what? Yeah, just drop it. Here, you take that. I don't know if you guys know, but I'm running for the office of President of the United States. I'm ready to take control, and I think Violet would make a great first lady, right? Yeah, keep going. Yeah, get her off, So that's a new song called So High. Yeah, the whole coat. Let's take the whole coat off. I'm hot. Whew. And now we're gonna do a song called, all of it. Get all the whole coat off. Talk longer? Girl, no, we gotta go. Get the coat off. Girl, we'll be fine. I got the extra song. We're covering for Violet's costume change. Tonight's show is called Costume Change. Okay. I mean, let's just do the song. Yeah, I've got the extra song. All right, kick it. Girl, oh my God, I'm a mess. Thank you. Are we ready? What? Keep going. I need some water. Anybody need water? Who's got a cocktail? Violet's late. Hello, surprise. No, it's true what Violet told you. She came up to me at a party, and she very arrogantly was like, hello, I'm Violet Chachki. And I didn't watch Drag Race. I'm old. And so I didn't know anything about Drag Race. And then we ended up kind of on the same glamour circuit. And I started seeing her around, and I was like, damn, that bitch is fierce. I saw her in Vienna. She turned to look. I saw her in New York. She turned to look. And then we ran into each other in Milan, and we kind of conquered fashion together, which was really cute. Hang on. I know it doesn't sound like I'm actually singing, but I am. Violet and I are both from Georgia, so I feel like there's some weird thing in the water where it's like all these queens come, RuPaul, Lady Bunny, me, Violet, all the girls, I don't know. All the girls come from Georgia. I don't know why. The fantasy of glamour and escape from the oppression of the patriarchy makes us do amazing things. Yeah, I guess can we do the other? You guys, I'm doing this song. It's totally, I'm like winging this shit right now. Violet asked me to do this like yesterday. So thank God somebody loaned me an outfit that got here at 8:15. Let's just do the next track. Oh, and make this really dramatic, like Barbra Streisand-y. Like less lights, very down light. Drama. This is the theme song to our TV show. Cast yourself in the part you wanna play. Live your life like the best movie never made. Cast yourself in the part you wanna play. Live your life like the best movie never made. You're a star even if they don't know it. You're a star even if no one is watching. Mythomaniac, 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 mythomaniac. I don't know if I'm delusional or not, but I know that I gave it my best shot. And if I fail or if I succeed, I know I was the best that I could be. Mythomaniac, 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 mythomaniac. I don't know if I'm delusional or not, but I know that I gave it my best shot. And if I fail or if I succeed, I know I was the best that I could be. I could be. I could be. And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the real star of the night, let it not be confused, Miss Violet Purple Doodad.
Now, what would Violet's position be possibly in the cabinet? Would she have some kind of attaché position?
She's just good for parties. She likes to dress up and get her picture taken.
Okay, sure.
So
that could
I
be
think
cultural attaché, I believe,
I
right?
think that's enough.
Yeah, that's fine.
good.
That's plenty, yeah.
But I like the idea of being a single president, so that there are multiple partners.
Yes.
That serve multiple roles.
Certainly, as in life. Yeah.
So it's like there can be lots of different kind of companions.
Sure.
I actually imagine, like, I know this is how crazy I am, but it's really fun premise is, I was imagining, I've already won. Like,
sure.
I got on the ballot.
You have to work backwards.
I got on the ballot.
Yes. Yeah.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is the vice president.
Yeah.
I'm trying to choose where we are at the night of the elections.
Okay,
so
sure.
that when we win, and what the speech is.
Right. Well, what about location, though? Tell me location.
Well, I think it would be New York for sure.
Yeah.
But I just don't know where in New York. Like, I don't feel like it's like a ritzy hotel.
Okay,
I want
sure.
something kind of cooler.
Something more downtown.
Yeah, and maybe it would be Brooklyn, and maybe it would be like, one of the great new, like, big warehouse clubs.
Like in Queens?
No, it would be.
Where were they?
It would be like Elsewhere or Avant-Gardener or some one of those really cool warehouse spaces.
Yeah, sure.
And then it would be like an after party that would go all night.
Now, what about the viewing? When you're watching the results come in,
I guess we would do that there. I don't know. I'm not sure. But then I imagine, like, now I've already jumped to the inauguration, so whatever. We'll find someplace cool in Brooklyn to have like an
that'll
amazing
take
party.
care of itself, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's a problem for Brooklyn. That might be the after, so we have to do something in Manhattan.
Okay, sure. Well, also you need to...
Because I feel like I'm going to need a cheeseburger. I don't know why. So I feel like I need to be near the food.
Okay. Yeah, is Brooklyn not the place to be?
I don't know. I don't want to deal with a catering. It's like, I just want like a nice restaurant.
Yeah. Pop into what is it, Julius?
Yeah, exactly. That would be amazing.
How good would that be?
That would be, that's
right?
exactly where I want to be, as Julius is.
Perfect.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah. And
good call. It's going to be crowded though. That's not big enough.
Well, true, but if it's a special event, which it is.
Yeah, we could block the street. Make the street party.
That's right. I think
okay.
Julius,
And maybe somehow we tied the Stonewall. We could do it all over there.
A whole thing.
Yeah.
A block party.
A block party.
Yes.
Cold though, because it's...
Well, yeah, but the fever.
November.
You got the fever of the excitement. That carries people through a lot of things.
All right.
More, and also nice coats.
Right.
There's going to be a lot of...
I hate coat check though.
Well, okay. Well, these are small things that have to get worked out. But again, I appreciate your attention to detail because that's what we need in the press.
I'm really bad about not going out if I have to deal with coat check.
Okay, sure.
Especially in New York in the winter, it's a nightmare.
Well, what about a cloak person for this?
I mean, I'll be fine, but I'm whatever. But anyway, we get to the inauguration when I'm imagining. Well, also I'm imagining like, okay, I don't have like one partner on stage, so I started imagining like who's on stage with me.
Yeah,
like, who shares the moment with, who's my family.
Okay, right.
And so then it's really cool because it's like chosen family.
That's right.
So I know that it'll be Violet, it'll be Kate Hardy, it'll be Manesh, it'll be Victor Jeffries, it'll be maybe it'll be Antoine, it'll be David D'Onofrio. I think I'm trying to think who else in my extended family. I mean, my roommate Michael, if he wants to come to New York from Paris. But I think it'll be like a dozen people that are like my chosen family. Yeah. That'll surround me.
Yeah, I think.
And it's an amazing mix of people too.
Sure.
It's like every color, every gender.
And where's everyone from? So some people listening might not be familiar.
A lot of New York, but some are, Espelios would definitely come from Berlin.
And what does Espelios do?
He was creative director of mine that I worked with for years, and like a close friend.
Sure.
I don't know. It'd be tough because
just for those not familiar with every name.
Yeah. No, they're just like all my friends that I work with.
Who have played a part in the development of the concept and your life.
Yes.
Certainly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like creative partners and lovers and blah blah blah.
And people will get to know them more as the process goes along.
Exactly. It's a great TV show.
It is. Yeah, little interviews here and there. Sure. Maybe we'll talk to them.
My God, that would be amazing.
It would be great. I'd like to be the official news channel.
Yeah, that's done.
Fantastic.
Perfect. Because I don't have time to organize that.
No, I'm happy.
All right, okay, done. You're hired. I don't have any money.
It's perfect for a podcast.
But also, I'm trying to run the cheapest campaign in history to prove that you can win without money.
Right, exactly, and that anyone
can do it because it's about people.
Right. And it's about determination, right? And vision.
About determination, vision, and people.
That's
really
right.
about people, and not about money.
Right.
So
that's the key.
That's the key.
Well, we have people here.
We have all the right people. And also it's sort of like using the power of culture. Because I think that a lot of people don't have a lot of respect for the arts and creative people, and yet so much of the world is driven by the ideas of the arts and creative people. And so if we draw upon that power, then that's also a testament to just because you don't have money doesn't mean you don't have power.
That's right. It's an empowering.
It's an empowering thing.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of cool.
It is a great premise. And then you use the technology available to us that's in everyone's pocket, etc.
Exactly.
Yeah. As we were doing today.
Totally grassroots.
Yeah.
I mean, the big thing that I have to do is that I've been trying to pull off a TV show because I think the only way to win is to use all like contemporary technology.
Certainly,
I think the seated president now won because he was a TV star.
Yes.
So the only way to beat a TV star is to also be a better TV star.
Sure, okay.
So I've been hustling really hard to pull off a TV show. I just had to fire the production company this week because we did not see eye to eye on the concept.
Yeah. Well, it's a setback, but at least you know that you're moving in the right direction because,
Yeah. Exactly. So it's fine. I'll figure it out. But I just have to be on air,
as often as possible.
Well, I think it's okay if I'm shooting if I'm on air, probably 6 months before the election's fine.
Okay, so you have time.
I have time, but I don't have a lot of time.
No.
It's like I'm under the gun.
Okay,
for sure.
Yeah, and what's the concept in general for the TV show? Is it just the life of the presidential candidate?
Well, I had the idea to do a TV show when Violet and I first connected in the winter of 2018 because we had this chemistry and because we were in this crazy flow of like art and music and fashion and performance and international, but also really kind of tough. Like it's not an easy life.
No, it's not.
It's pretty brutal and you spend a lot of time alone.
It's isolating.
It's isolating. And so I think that there is kind of the schism happening in culture where everyone is obsessed with social media and we watch it and we see all these lives and we have all this FOMO and, you know, my life looks incredible, but the reality is it's really tough. And it's tough in ways that people don't even know that I have yet to reveal.
Sure, well, give us a few of them, just a little taste.
I mean, when Violet and I and everything was kind of like popping off, I was in the middle of an album release.
Sure.
I had overspent on the album a great deal.
What percentage would you say that you overspent?
I mean, I was in the hole. I'm still in the hole, a couple $100,000.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
So I was hoping that I would make that money back on touring. But essentially what happened was my show was classified as too gay.
Really?
Yes. And so I was not
too gay for what? And when they said
too gay for anything.
When they said too gay, was there a bell that rang afterwards?
Yeah, exactly. Too gay. I didn't get booked on one gay pride show.
You were too gay for gay pride?
Too gay for gay pride.
Okay, that's outrageous.
Well, that's because all the prides are run by straight people.
They are. I didn't know that.
Yes. And so I didn't book one pride, and they literally, the booking agents and the promoters and everyone said that our show was too vulgar and that I couldn't have men in chaps.
Really?
Yeah.
That's insane to me.
It's insane.
It's insane.
So it really reveals the inherent like homophobia and patriarchy that we're dealing with.
And also, I don't know what the word is for prudishness, but I guess prudishness.
Repression.
Repression, thank you.
So I set myself up for a gigantic failure. Even though the work was good, I wasn't doing anything that was more radical than how women are presented.
Sure, no, certainly not. If anything, a little less
Nicki Minaj, absolutely less than Nicki Minaj and Teyana Taylor and Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B and how all the women are presented. J-Lo.
Right.
So the fact that,
chaps would be almost a modest
no big deal
thing for it.
So basically I set myself up for like a financial disaster, even though it was a total creative success. So in the midst of all of
that, and by the way,
glamour and excitement where I'm showing up to shows and I'm,
re-emerging too after a bit of time away from the spotlight.
Exactly.
And with an album that's very definitive about its subject matter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in the midst of all that, I was experiencing great poverty.
Sure.
Like beyond, like you can't even imagine. So I was experiencing, great poverty.
And it's stressful too, because when you're experiencing poverty like that, you can't really talk to people about it.
Well, I also knew my family doesn't have money, and so I couldn't go to them because it would, and I couldn't be honest with them because I knew it would cause them too much anxiety. So I had to kind of like.
This is what I mean about you can't talk about it.
I can't be honest about it. There were only certain people that knew that worked really closely with me that were like my agents and my managers, which I know it was very stressful for them also because they're trying to like run a business and you've got talent that, I mean, my bank account was overdrawn for so long that they dissolved my bank account.
They dissolved. Now, how does that happen? When it's overdrawn for so long, how?
It was overdrawn for 60 days.
Oh, I see. And how much roughly would you say it was overdrawn? If you
like $700, $768.
So that's enough to have that happen.
Yeah. So they canceled my bank account, and
did they send it to collections?
Maybe, I don't know. No, I eventually paid it.
Sure.
The crazy thing is that so that happened, and then also because I didn't have a bank account, then I couldn't pay my phone bill, so I didn't have phone service.
Oh, right.
For I think 5 or 6 months,
which is very, very crippling.
So I only lived on Wi-Fi.
Wow, okay.
So I survived no bank account and no phone service through January, February, March, April.
And this is
and
part
the
of
album was releasing in February, and I was traveling everywhere all the time.
Oh my goodness.
So I
It was kind of amazing though, because my team was incredible, and basically I was just honest with them about it, and I was like, "This is where I'm at, and I can have no shame about it."
Right? No, you had to be very upfront.
I had to be get past it. So when we would organize and coordinate things, they just knew that like the minute I left the house, I was off Wi-Fi, I was unavailable.
Yes.
There had to be a car to pick me up, to take me to the airport. There had to be a car and a driver to pick me up at the other side.
Yeah, and now where was the money coming from to pay for this? Was this the money that you'd already paid?
It would be like if someone booked me to go to a fashion show they were handling it. So, agents and managers would be like, "Hey, can you take this train to the airport?" And I'd be like, literally cannot. Cannot. And the crazy thing that happened was fashion started to take me on.
Yeah, sure.
And it happened really right as I was probably at my weakest and literally surviving on fumes. Mm-hmm. And I was basically sofa surfing in Paris. And
now, was this after you got evicted?
Yes. Oh my God, yes. The eviction happened, and then I moved into a new apartment in Greenpoint, and then I went to, we got through the release of the album. I got all the video shot and all the kind of creative done.
Sure.
And then I went to Brazil to do a couple shows and to shoot another music video.
Was all the money laid out for the album and video coming from you, or was it a joint
It was coming
fund?
from Warren and I and our business and a little bit of the label.
Okay.
And so we got an advance, but it was stalled for years trying to get the album out, and we couldn't find a label to release. And it was kind of a blessing because the album got stalled, and I wanted the album to release in the summer of 2016. I was basically ready to go in 2015.
Sure, right.
And then it slid to 2017, and then we were having problems with the release plan. We signed with a label in February 2017. We made the schedule, and I oversee all the creative, so film, photography, blah, 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 everything. And so I had lots of that stuff prepped and ready to go, but we kept having trouble where around the first single, which everyone couldn't make up their mind, the label management and the artists, we were all in conflict about, they kept changing their mind about what the single should be. And it was really difficult because it's a lot of work for me with limited budget to pull off like spectacular production value for film and photography.
And also you're dealing with the stress of personal poverty.
All that, and my life is falling apart at the same time. So
right, you had a full plate.
Yeah. So basically, the big drama was I leaked the first single because I was working with Boots. We were mixing. Yeah. And the great thing was because the album got delayed, it ended up coming out after
the election.
Right. I don't like to say that person's name.
No, we don't need to.
So what I like is that the album became more relevant when it did come out. So in a way, it was a blessing that it got postponed. But what happened that was difficult is that I was with Boots. We were going over mixes. He got involved a year after the album was done. We did one extra song, which was Have Fun Tonight.
Right.
Which you saw tonight.
Yeah.
And it was a breakthrough, amazing song to make, and amazing to work with him. And then because we worked with Boots, he works with Stuart White, who is Beyonce and Jay-Z's mixer. Mm-hmm. And because Beyonce was pregnant that spring, Boots was like, Casey, we have access to Stuart. We should have him mix as many songs as possible.
Sure, okay.
So basically, I spent all my money on getting those mixes because I knew he did one song. He did Have Fun Tonight, and the entire rest of the record sounded like shit. Oh. And so I had to start over and remix as many songs as I could, basically until I ran out of money.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, whatever. It'll release, and then we'll start touring and playing stuff. I'll make the money back, blah, 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 blah.
Because you've done that before, right?
Yeah, it happens. I've done that where it's like, before the Ministry of Sound deal, it was the same thing. I had $3 in the bank. They sent a limo. I took the Concorde, blah, blah, blah. I signed a deal, and then
as you outlined in the previous episode that we did, I
can't remember what I said last time.
No, I was going to say, it's these events repeating themselves in a way.
I know, it's this crazy like feast or famine thing.
Right. Now, in that, did you ever feel like, how the fuck did I get into this position again? Because
yes, of course.
Sure.
I was like, how could I possibly have let myself, drift into the situation again?
Right, because once you've been really poor, I mean, I've been there, if you even come close, if you can smell it again, it's terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think that my strength and my weakness is that I believe I have an undying faith, and I believe in great ideas.
Totally.
And so, unfortunately, this was a great idea, but what it revealed is the patriarchy and the inherent homophobia in the entertainment industry.
So to get back to that,
so that knowledge is power.
Sure.
So even though I don't have the money, now I have knowledge that no one else.
That's true. The peek behind the curtain.
Now I know.
Yeah.
Now I know what I'm dealing with. And so, part of solving the problem is just knowing the problem.
Right.
So anyway, I leaked the first single, Have Fun Tonight, in the summer of 2017. And, we had been having all these like weird scheduling problems where they kept springing deadlines on me and saying like, we need the record cover in 2 days, or we need the video in da-da. And no one was giving me like a clear schedule.
Okay,
and I was like, you guys, I just need the budget and the schedule and I can hit those marks.
Yeah.
But I'm not getting that information. I'm getting deadlines sprung on me the last minute. And then they started postponing the release.
Uh-huh.
And that made me crazy because I was desperate to start making money.
Absolutely.
And they started sliding the release back from 2017 to 2018.
Right.
And that's when I went ballistic.
Right, because you're dead broke and you have nothing coming in.
Nothing.
And you can see for a year you won't have anything coming in.
Literally barely surviving.
Right.
Not even eating.
Really?
Like can't leave the house, can't jumping subway turnstiles, like really like destitute.
Were there at least any sort of galas and things that you could cage some food off of?
Absolutely. I love to live off of hors d'oeuvres. I hate to cook. So anyway, I leaked the single, and the single leak was incredible because it revealed also the truth, which was that the reaction was really interesting. I had a manager. The manager had a meltdown. He felt betrayed. I talked to my publicist that night. The publicist loved it, thought it was brilliant. Uh-huh. And then I was most nervous to talk to the president of the record label because basically I was in breach of contract and they could ask for their money back.
Which would be a lot of money.
Which would be a problem.
Yeah, big problem.
And so anyway, the president of the label was like, listen, it was a pitchfork leak, and he was like, Casey, in my career, I've only had, like 2 or 3 pitchfork, premieres like this.
Yeah.
It's incredible. He was like, the video is fantastic. The song is amazing. Because basically, we made a music video, released the song, and did all the artwork without anyone knowing about it.
Right.
And just dropped it.
Yeah, and it had a massive
And the
impact,
publicist was like, wow, I was really surprised when it happened because your manager keeps saying that you don't have your shit together. And you're not delivering the creative on time.
Now, that must have been quite
And
jarring.
I was like, excuse me? I was like, I'm the bitch over here like pulling off a fucking miracle and nobody's giving me a real fucking schedule, so fuck that.
And then on top of it, you got this guy running you down to people.
Oh yeah, well that too. And then the president of the label says like, great song, great choice, great video, great work, great everything, but the problem is that we don't have any of the contracts on any of the side artists, any of the other singers, any of the other writers, any other producers. We have 0 paperwork on the album, so we cannot release anything.
Now let me ask, wouldn't that be the job of the manager to take care of that? Okay.
And we signed the contract in February. We're in June. They hadn't served any other people participating on the album with not one deal memo.
Oh, dear.
So basically it revealed my manager was not doing his job.
Yeah, quite.
And lying to me.
Oh, yeah.
And blaming me.
And still taking money from you.
I mean, there was no money to get.
Okay, but still.
But then when I found that out, bitch, you want to watch some? I mean, I went so motherfucking ballistic with like a handful of change and a hard drive. I went fucking crazy. Oh, we also had a major museum exhibition opening in Vienna, and the museum exhibition plus the museum catalog was timed to come out as the same time as the first single.
Okay.
So it's like song, music video, museum exhibition, and catalog were all timed to come at the same time.
Yeah.
So to pull off a museum show and an album release at the same time is a real challenge.
Yeah.
And this bitch fucked up my scheduling.
Right.
And so I had to, I leaked the single. And then I went to Vienna to open the show. The show was a total success. Everything was beautiful. And then I just basically took a hard drive and a thumb drive, and I started doing club gigs without telling anybody.
Okay.
No one, not even Warren Fisher, no manager, no one.
Yeah.
I just literally just started taking gigs at clubs.
Yeah.
And I was like, guess what, bitch? Tour started. I was like, the show was happening. And then we had, everyone was really nervous about my mental health at that point, and people were concerned that I was on steroids and had lost it. And I felt like I was the most sane, most clearest person in the whole camp.
Because let me ask, during the time of the extreme poverty and all of this stuff, was there scuttlebutt going around that you heard come back to you about, Casey's lost it, or Casey's being this, Casey's being
Michael
that?
Stipe called me as per Warren. I mean, I was really frustrated with Warren because he was not as angry as I was about the situation, and I didn't feel like he fully comprehended the depth of the betrayal.
Okay. He was more mellow about it?
He was just more like trying to be chill and strategic, and I was just angry to the core.
Was he trying to maintain some kind of relationship with the manager?
Yeah, he's more diplomatic, and I'm more radical. But he also loves my radicalism. And so when we did the leak, he basically was like, I have nothing to do with this. This is all you. You did this, but I will totally help you get this video done, and I will help do everything. But when the truth comes out, this is you, not me. But I love it. But I didn't do it, but I love it. But do this, but I'm not doing it. But please do this, but I did not do this.
So would this be typical of your relationship with Warren and the working
he kind
practices?
of encourages me to be the crazy one.
He enjoys it, but does not want to
he enjoys it, but he enjoys me doing what he can't do.
I see. Okay, and you enjoy how he operates?
Sometimes, except when it's like, I feel like we can't. No, I don't actually. I don't like it when it's like, I don't like to pussyfoot around the problems.
Sure.
I don't like to be strategic. I like to get to the point, and I like no bullshit.
Right.
It's like nothing gets solved by
over diplomacy,
trying to maintain a failing relationship.
That's true.
I've learned if the relationship isn't working and you've tried everything you can, and if you betray me, that's it. It's done.
It's over. Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
There is I cannot look past that.
No, you shouldn't.
Yeah. So it's like, it's a waste of time. It's time, cut your losses, move on. It's done.
Sure. So you're back to you're doing the club gigs.
So doing the club gigs, I'm in Madrid, and Michael Stipe calls me. Somehow I must be on Wi-Fi so I can take a call. Everyone's freaking out because they can't contact me.
Right. Which people really lose their minds over these days.
And my father was a nervous wreck because he knew something was going on. I'm like off in the world.
And you don't want to share with them the financial issues because you want them to feel okay. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's tough, but they've been very patient, and I have a working phone now, and we're past that era. So I feel like I can talk about it now openly for the first time.
Sure. Well, it's a major thing to share.
But I do think it has given me perspective and will make me a great president because I understand what it means to be poor.
Yes.
I understand what it means to be that vulnerable. I understand what it means to be that lonely, that sad, that lost, that compromised.
Sure.
To have your identity tied up so deeply in your finances and having to separate your humanness from money because you've had it all taken away from you.
Yeah. Well, when Michael called, what did he say?
Oh, so when Michael called, he's smooth. He's a real smooth operator. And he was like, how are you doing? Just checking in, what's going on?
What have you seen
and then
lately?
he kind of roundabout got to, he's like, just by chance, are you on steroids? And I was like, well, A, thanks for the compliment. No, I built this body with chicken and kale and a lot of work.
Yeah,
so
sure.
no, this is not steroids.
Yeah.
I'm not unhinged. And
because that was the notion that
that was what it was. Is I think basically
from.
Warren went to Michael and was like, Casey has lost it. Please contact him.
Yeah.
And see what's going on.
Sure.
And so, Michael was like, we talked, and then he was like, oh yeah. He was like, you're fine. You're just pissed. And then when I laid out everything that had happened, he was like, damn.
Yeah.
He was like, you have every right to be as angry as you are.
Right.
So.
And then from there.
Then from there, we hired an amazing. I reluctantly hired a new manager. I wasn't going to hire a manager ever again because I've been through so many bad managers. I was like, I know everyone and I know how to do everything. I just need an assistant.
Yeah.
And
why didn't you go with that?
Because we had a manager come in and interview with us, this amazing woman named Paula, and she was incredible and she was tough, and I was just like really honest with her too. I was just like, Warren was like, please be nice to her, please don't freak her out, please relax. And I was like, Paula, I'm pissed, I don't want to hire another manager.
Yeah.
You know, I've been fucked over, I'm not going to be fucked over again. She was really cool, she was totally transparent with me, and we started working, and she really pulled the ship back together.
Okay.
And and then the release got back on track, and then we designed the beautiful, beautiful show that we did at Brooklyn Steel in the fall.
Yeah.
And, you know, all the music videos, and then everything started to roll, and it was gorgeous, except I had pushed myself to the point of such financial vulnerability.
Yeah.
That...
And mental exhaustion.
And mental exhaustion that I had, you know... I went through like this crazy transformation, which was great, but yeah.
And what would you say you transformed into?
I mean, it just made me stronger.
Yeah.
It made my faith more devout in what I do and what I believe in and my ideas. And it also taught me that I have got to be more, I can't, it's tough. I can't, I have to think about money, and I have to be strategic in a way where I think I was naive. I mean, I guess I was naive about the homoerotic themes that I was pursuing.
Yeah, you thought it would be
I thought that it would be embraced, and I thought that it would be an easy success because the songs are great. Michael Stipe is an incredible producer.
Right.
He has his name has a lot of power.
So the subject matter, as we talked about last episode, it's not really covered all that much, especially conversion,
exactly.
et cetera. Yeah.
And so now it's like you realize why these narratives don't happen is because they don't make money, and so
because they're not allowed to make money.
Because they're not allowed to make money. So it's good, but now I have to find a way to be more strategic and basically taking care of myself,
right,
and making money so that I'm able to keep pursuing ideas.
Well, and also
and making work,
especially as you get older too, you need a certain level of comfort, just baseline level, that you know that the security of not being evicted, not going to your last dime, because the mental strain is probably the most debilitating thing that there is from that. I'm sort of a lazy Buddhist. I chant every day, and that gives me, I don't know how, but it basically gives me perspective and always makes me calm. When did you first start doing that?
I started chanting, I think, in the fall of 2014. And so that always kind of gives me, it always saves me.
Some balance.
Somehow. I don't know how. It just... It shifts my perspective.
Where were you at before you started chanting mentally?
I mean, it was a friend of mine saw me sitting out in front of Oslo Coffee Shop on Bedford, and I was at a very low point and basically homeless, and everything was in storage, and I couldn't find an apartment, and I didn't know where I was going to live, and my album was stalled, and I had spent all my money. And
so this was right in that time. Okay.
Yeah, it was sort of like in the period where everything was sort of like languishing, and I couldn't get any momentum. And then, things started like picking up.
Yeah.
And work got better, and I found an apartment that was incredible, and then, I got rid of a bad boyfriend and wrote an amazing song, and then it just felt like, then that's when I started to take control. Yeah. I took control.
And that's what the president needs to do. Is
I literally like took control. I was like, okay, fuck everybody.
Yeah. Now, were there people that you shed in your life that weren't the boyfriend, et cetera, besides the manager? Were there other people that sort of you realized were sort of dead weight at the time? Or were all those relationships
not
okay?
so much. I mean, I think if anything, the right people came to me, and they're all those people that I named.
Sure.
You know.
Do you believe in manifestation?
I do. I don't know. I feel like if I make up my mind and if I know exactly what I want, well, here's the thing. You're not going to get what you want if you don't know what it is.
That's
and
true.
the more you can be clear about what you want, the more it will probably happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to happen in a way that, like, I think when I'm clear about what I want and what I need, it seems like sometimes like it just magically appears. But I think what's happening is that there's small choices that are underlying everything. And then because I'm making these small choices and I'm making it known in subtle ways what I'm looking for, then it eventually happens.
Now, what do you do about negative thoughts? Because we all get negative thoughts, right? And especially when you're in that very vulnerable position of being dead broke, having no real timeline with which to apply your energy.
Yeah.
You must have fought off a lot of dark, negative thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, it's really weird. When I have a good idea, it gives me a lot of fuel. Okay. And so I would say the only thing that held me back would be hunger. You know, there are just times where I just was like, literally, I just didn't have strength because I was so hungry, living on like rice and green tea. And so there would just be these moments where it's like, I didn't know if I would have the strength to keep going. But, you know, it also kind of made the successes so much sweeter because to go back to when I met Violet and the whole premise of all of this that we're doing, which was to make a TV show. First came out of this relationship with Violet, and now it's kind of become this more political thing about a campaign. The moment when everything turned was January, early January of 2018. Someone had given me an apartment in Paris. I wasn't sure where I was going to live. Didn't have a bank account. Didn't have a phone. And no, I had a bank account until the middle of January because I got booked on a gig to go to a fashion show. It was the first time I was paid to go to a fashion show, and they were paying for the hotel, cars, clothes, everything. I have this amazing agent, and so the agent was coordinating and organizing all that. I mean, I'm so stubborn though that like I was in Madrid, I was living in this hostel. I had €8 and this stylist reached out to me on Instagram and was like, hey, will you come, sit front row at this fashion show? And it was a very conservative Italian suiting brand. And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I've worked so hard to sculpt this image, to release this album. I'm 1 month away from release. Am I really going to go and like sit front row at some like conservative suit brand? Like I can't.
Even with the
even at that low of a level, I would not let go of the idea that I had to maintain an image.
Yeah, sure.
And I had a social media manager at the time, this really amazing guy. And we were talking and he was like, what's going on? And I was like, I got €8. I'm in Madrid. I'm in a hostel. And I got this request to go to this show. He knows a lot about fashion. And I was like, I don't know if I should go. And he was like, okay, Casey, number one, you need the money. So take the gig.
Swallow the
because I'm bad about thinking about money. Because I always go with the idea over the money. And then he was like, two, it's amazing that a conservative brand wants you to come sit front row because you're so fucking flamboyant and queer. So the fact that this conservative brand wants you to be associated, it's really cool. So in that respect, you should take it. So anyway, I took the gig. It was negotiated. It was the first time I ever got paid to go to a show. And
not the last, though.
Not the last. But that morning, and I still couldn't really reveal to the people that I worked with how poor I was.
That's another whole level of bizarreness because your family, that's one thing. You hide certain things from your family to protect them. But the people you're working with, that's a whole nother level of crazy.
And it was so, because you have to be like, they're representing you. You need
everything's going fine.
You want to be like good. You want to be a good property to handle.
And also, again, we're talking about another layer of image, which is another thing that's so shot through in every part of our lives. And a lot of times we don't think about that.
So anyway, that was, for instance, when the agent was like, okay, we have this offer, it'd be easier if you just took the train to the airport. Can you take the train? And I was like, no, I can't. And I was house sitting for someone, and basically it was like having to scavenge leftover food and anything from whoever I was house sitting for.
Right.
And at this point, I couldn't even find any like leftover change in this person's house to like buy a cup of coffee.
Right.
So the morning that I left for this fashion show, all I had was like water.
Yeah.
Nothing to eat, probably no dinner.
Sure.
And
no caffeine.
Nothing. So I'm just like barely scraping myself together. They send a Mercedes. Thankfully, there's candy in the car.
Oh, yeah. And in those moments, there's nothing
I'm
better.
taking like fistfuls of candy just to keep my blood sugar up. I'm flying first class, so I'm thinking like, just get to the airport. There's going to be a lounge.
Yeah.
They'll have coffee at the lounge. You'll make it.
Yeah, it's funny how you start thinking about in these moments when you have nothing.
You have to plan like every step.
Absolutely, and that's another reason also why a lot of times if you do have lofty ideas or some kind of artistic purpose, if you do not have funds coming in, it's almost impossible to achieve them because it's that Maslow's thing of the pyramid of need, right? I can't remember exactly, but it's like on the baseline. You're just thinking hour to hour about getting food, getting shelter. And it's only until you have the sort of the comfort of the luxury of having those needs met that you can focus on the other things. So it's remarkable that you were able to do that.
No, I mean, this one day was so crazy because it was like nothing down to nothing, not a penny into a Mercedes, like surviving on candy, getting to the airport, getting a coffee, getting off the plane, getting into another like chauffeured limousine.
Did they have food on the plane?
I got something to eat on the plane. I think anything. And then and I got coffee. Thank God.
Thank God. Yeah.
And then I get off the first class flight into the chauffeured car that takes me directly to the design studio.
Right.
And then I come in and it's the stylist that I love. And sure enough, my nightmare is happening. I go in and I was a size 50 or 52. Because I'd been doing tons of weight training to have like this amazing body for the persona.
And also, did you focus on that a lot when you had nothing because it's something to keep you centered?
Yes, that helped a lot. Exercise and like training kept me mentally, I would say the combination of like the physical and the spiritual kept me grounded.
Yeah.
And so, yes, and I had amazing people in New York because I know trainers and I know everyone that has gyms. And so everyone was very generous and they all knew that I had this very clear idea. And so people donated their time, donated their gyms, and really helped me make my body, look as best as possible.
Yeah.
When it was like I could have never afforded paying for that body.
Right.
But they believed in the idea.
Right. Because I was going to ask if there was a gym membership or something
No,
like that.
I had a friend who had a private gym, and so I had a private trainer, and the trainer killed me like 4 or 5 days a week. It was the most brutal, amazing experience.
How long each day would it be?
Oh my God. I mean, I would be dying after 45 minutes.
Okay.
But
it was that intense.
It was so intense. The trainer that I worked with was a trainer for football players at Penn State.
And they ate a little bit more than you were eating at the time.
Oh, well, I mean, I was eating. Somehow I always found the food in New York. But then it was like once I ended up in Paris, that was when it was like I really was like alone.
Oh, I see. Right. Because you didn't have your network really.
Yeah, I had lost my network, and I was basically like alone in Paris just with a fur coat.
Well, at least the food isn't good here, right? So you wouldn't be missing
you know what? Here it's like, I mean, if you can always get a baguette for a euro 25.
Sure.
And I was
stunned at how cheap the cheese was at the shop that I went to.
Exactly. I mean, you can go to the grocery store here and buy a bag of groceries that'll last you for a week, and it's like 20 euros.
I couldn't believe the prices. Yeah.
It's like you can buy like a dozen eggs, some rice, some butter, some milk, some bread, the basics.
Yeah.
And it's like you can do that for 15 to 20 euros.
You're a little bit better off than if you're just near a Gelson's in LA. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're at the...
Where am I?
We were at the fashion show. You see the stylist.
Oh, yeah. So this magical day.
Yeah.
That was like also kind of how the extreme...
back and forth.
What's the word I want? This extreme sort of deprivation.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Made the
the flood of materials.
No, it's like the deprivation and
then the saturation.
Not success. Success is not the word, but it's like deprivation and then fulfillment. It's almost like fasting and then
and then like gorging or something.
Yeah, it's like the fasting and then the gorge. Whatever, you get the idea.
Yeah.
Was so crazy.
Feasting.
Yeah, it was like feast or famine.
Okay.
Literally.
Yeah.
So the famine I went through into the feasting that happened within this one weekend, which is the weekend that I met Violet, was beyond.
Okay.
So this morning I get up, I have nothing. I get in a Mercedes. I'm surviving on candy. I get on the flight. I get all the thing. I get there. They have the suits for me at the suiting brand, which are like exactly what I was afraid of, like really square, really boring.
Sure.
And we start putting the clothes on and nothing fits.
Oh, God.
Because I have been so hungry.
Oh, right.
I have lost so much weight.
Right.
I have dropped 2 sizes.
So you dropped 2 sizes?
I dropped from a 50, 52. I was a 52 because I had big shoulders and kind of a 50 in the waist.
Yeah.
I dropped from a 50 to 52 to a 48 on the jacket and 46.
Oh, wow.
So it was like massive difference. And I had weighed up maybe like around 190 pounds. And when I weighed myself in Milan, I was 168.
That's
so
dramatic.
I had dropped about 20 pounds in a month.
And you were still training this whole time too.
Hell no, I wasn't training. I was I was starving.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't
That was your weight
exert
loss
energy.
plan. Okay.
I couldn't exert any energy.
Because I thought you were doing that, and I thought that's madness. Yeah.
No. The training, once I hit Paris.
Never mind. Okay, so my mistake. Yeah. So now
So anyway, this day I go, and the stylist freaks out, and she's like, "Casey, your sample size." And I was like, "What?" And all of a sudden, it was like the clothes started to come in.
Oh.
Like the clothes were amazing. You know, it was like all the good clothes came in. So then it was like beautiful clothes, tailored, blah, 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 dressed head to toe, expensive, gorgeous, everything done. Buffet luncheon.
Sure.
Meow, meow, meow. Scavenging just like stuffing my face in the corner.
Yeah.
Getting tailored, like assistants all over me. Get in the car, go check into the 5-star hotel with all incidentals covered.
Wow. Yeah. That's
in my
pretty major.
suite.
Yeah.
Bitch. And everyone was like, "What are you going to do?" I was like, "I'm not leaving this hotel." And like moved in, ordered room service. And then there was like an Italian porn star who'd been flirting with me.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, "Honey, get over here." So the Italian porn star came in the next day for the weekend. The Italian porn star sounds better than it was because basically he had erectile dysfunction because he was so intimidated because of my persona.
Oh, okay.
So we ended up not having great sex because he was nervous.
That's sad. But, I mean, a little blip, a little blemish.
He looked cute. It was cute.
Okay, so you had that.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun to
You had some
and
fun.
it was obvious what was going on.
Uh-huh.
Like when I went to Marquesa and it's like I'm sitting there with this guy that I've dressed and everyone's like, "Okay, what's this trade that Casey's with?"
And you're talking about the image thing. I mean, what could be better than this whole...
Right? It was fun.
Yeah.
So anyway, did that, and then that's just an example. But the crazy thing was, I got paid from that gig, and my agent was really cool, and they were like, "Look," and I was just like, "Listen, I really need the money." And my agent was like, "Cool," and they're like, "You know what? I'll advance you the fee, blah blah blah. Let me transfer it to your bank account." They transferred it to my account, and my bank account was dissolved that day. So then I was like, "Okay, I don't know what to do." And I was with Violet, and I said, "Listen," and my agent was like, "Look, let me just Venmo the money to somebody, and then they can just give you the cash."
Right.
I was like, "Okay." So my agent Venmo'd my fee from the show to Violet, and Violet basically became my bank, which was, let me tell you, never have a drag queen be your ATM.
Really? Because what happens?
Because it was so complicated and emotional and weird. She would never give me my money. She would leave me fucking stranded anywhere.
Because she was
just because she's
looking
a bitch.
out for you, or
no? Because she thinks that she wanted to manage my money, but I was like, "Honey, like I don't know how I'm gonna get home." And she was like, literally, like leaving me at galas, stepping into her Uber, like slamming the door and saying, "You'll figure it out."
Wow, a little tough love.
I don't know if I would call that love.
Misplaced.
It was a bitch.
Okay, so just tough. Yeah.
I mean, like for instance, when we were about to separate during this season, and she had been sent $3,000.
Yeah,
and she would give me like 80. 120. 250. And I was like, bitch, just give me my damn money. And she was like, well, I have a limit on my card and I don't want my card to be frozen.
Sure.
And then we're trying to keep up with the math, and then she's buying the meals, and then we're deducting the meals, and it was just like crazy. And then we finally get to the end of the fashion season.
Yeah.
She's going one way, I'm going the other. And I'm like, okay, you owe me, like, I need that last 500 euros. And we go fucking panty shopping in Pigalle, and bitch buys like a bunch of dead stock thongs and spends 500 euros. And then I'm like, hey, let's go to the ATM. And she's like, oh shit, I think I hit my limit. And I was like, honey, I don't have a bank account. How you think I'm gonna get my money? You have everything. You just spent everything on motherfucking thongs in Pigalle.
But they're
like,
dead
bitch,
stock.
we're going to the ATM. And at one point I was so crazy. What was it? I walked into a church and I asked them if they had an ATM. That I thought it was a hotel. It was crazy.
Well,
so anyway,
yeah.
I got my money. We're fine.
Okay, yeah.
And then eventually the craziest story was I didn't have my phone, and I got back to New York and I got some money. I was like, okay, I can pay my phone bill. I can turn my phone back on. I got an apartment. Like, slowly, I started to pull myself out of this like deep, deep hole.
But the other problem with that stuff is, sometimes you can get a chunk of money, but then you have all this outstanding debt. And it
Well,
can
I
almost be
still
like,
have debts that I'm chipping away at.
True, but I'm talking about the more immediate, the phone, the apartment,
Yeah.
because sometimes you can be like, great, I have this money, and then boom, you're at zero again.
For sure. But listen to this. This is the craziest thing that ever happened, ever. And this is what I mean. I don't know if it's my tenacity. I don't know if it's magic. I don't know what the deal is.
Sure.
But basically, hey, who is...
Hey, I'm Craig.
Oh, really? Interesting.
How's it going?
Hello.
I'm Craig. What's your names? Yim? And Jamuka? Nice to meet you.
Yeah. That's the person that I fired off the TV show.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. So this is an exclusive for the... Can that stay in there?
Yeah. So I can't believe you just...
Well, you actually heard. This is a lot of firsts are happening today.
So anyway, I'll tell the story quickly. I'm starving though. I haven't
Well,
eaten
listen.
lunch.
Why don't we get some food and then we can resume? How about that?
No, I have to tell you this one is really good.
Okay, this is the craziest thing that ever happened.
This is one of the things that like...
So the craziest thing that ever happened, then
No,
we get
not
food.
this is one of the craziest things, but this is like an amazing thing that happened.
Okay.
Is that I get back to New York. It's April. The album is released in February. You know, everything's going good. I'm doing shows. I'm making money again. And I go to the T-Mobile store to pay my phone bill.
Yeah.
It's like $700, you know, whatever. They've frozen my phone. I go, I pay the bill. It's all automated and weird, and I can't figure it out. And then my phone isn't turning back on. And I talk to this guy, and he has to call someone, and then we're on hold, and it's just like a mess. It's like that bureaucratic phone call, customer service, hellhole bullshit,
endless
modern
amount of
life.
time. Yeah.
And like people are giving you conflicting information,
Yes.
and it went on and on and on. And I basically was like in the T-Mobile store in Times Square for 2 hours.
That can also really damage your spirit too, because you start thinking, this is because I didn't have money. Now this is what happened, and then your whole day is tied up in this kind of bullshit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I leave, and the guy's like, listen, he's like, I'm really sorry, but because your phone was cut off for so long, you can't have your number.
What?
He's like, you've lost your phone number.
Oh God.
And you're going to have to start a new account, and you have to just start over.
Ugh.
And I was like, I just paid everything and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And he's like, doesn't matter. It's all been dissolved. And that was my phone number for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Everyone knows it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if that number's gone, I mean, it's like, I've lost the relationship. I've lost the house. I've lost the cats. I've barely survived to make the record. It's like, I've lost everything. I've lost, even my New York apartment, I left and I never came back, and I put everything in storage in the Bronx.
Okay.
So it's like, I'm literally in Paris with like one pair of jeans, one pair of shoes, and one like amazing fur coat.
Yeah.
Which is the only way I survived, is because Parisians are impressed by that kind of bourgeois bullshit. And that's the only way I survived.
So you could swan into things.
Which I felt guilty about fur for a long time,
Well,
except for that one fur coat.
Yeah.
And I honestly started to think about how those animals wanted me to live. Because I was like, these animals love me, and they want me to live, and I can have this coat because it's getting me in the door.
It's taking care of
and
me.
it was keeping me alive.
Yeah.
Like, I slept with that coat like on the floor,
Sure.
It was like, So anyway,
it was a good multi-use
I had
garment,
nothing, and then I have something, and then I go and I'm going to the phone. So I give up. So I'm like, I have to let go.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have to let go of something else.
Done. Yeah.
I'm like, I have to let go of the phone. I've had to let go of so much. You know, I'm okay. I can let go of another thing and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, and fuck T-Mobile, I don't want them anyway. AT&T is better for international. And so I went to AT&T to get a new phone.
Yeah.
And I went and, you know, picked out the phone and whatever. And it was in Hell's Kitchen, and there was this really sweet guy that helped me. And so we picked out the phone and blah, 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 and set up the plan and blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, okay, well, your new number is... And I just hated the new number.
Oh, really?
I was like, ugh. I was like, really? I was like, well, can I at least get a 917?
Okay.
And he was like, okay, well, here, let me just pull some 917s. And I was like, okay. And then I said, well, can I get some 917s? And then like the first 3 digits of my old number. So it's kind of close.
Sure.
Just so it feels familiar.
Yeah.
And he was like, sure. And so then he started going through, and then I was like, well, all right, let's just make it as close to the old number as possible. So like, let's make the 4 digits. So we got the first 3, then we got the next 3. And then I was like, well, let's choose 4 digits that are close to the old number. Uh-huh. And he was like, okay. And so we started going through, and he started reading the numbers. And then I was like, don't read them. Just let me look at the screen. And so we started going down. I just started looking and clicking through the screen, through the last 4 digits that were similar to my old number. My old fucking phone number came up.
That's insane. That never happens.
The exact same
number. You got your old number.
Phone number was sitting, because they had told me someone else has your number.
Okay.
And I was like, that's not possible. I'm still using that number on WhatsApp.
Oh, okay,
so there's
sure.
No way.
Yeah.
So anyway, I clicked through the motherfucking universe, found my number sitting dormant on some database.
Right. You got it.
And the guy was like, well, you're going to have to pay $14 if you want a specific number. And I was like, bitch, I just found my fucking phone number in outer space. I was like, I will pay $14.
Yeah, that's fine. 28 actually.
And so that, for me, some reason, like, and even every time I use my phone and every time I have that phone number, that's like, bitch, like there is a way.
Yes.
There is a way. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Like when you think there's not a way and everyone tells you no, and you're like, someone else has it, it's gone, it's over, it's defunct, it's devolved.
There's nothing that can be done.
Nothing can be done. Nothing, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Bitch, don't give up. It's there.
I love my country. And I love your country too. My name is Casey Spooner, and I'm running for president.